Shalom, and first and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakal Kadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of the great millstone. And a shout out to Yakim that's out in the four quarters of the earth, proclaiming this truth. Risking your lives to do so, as you can see here yesterday, as I'm doing right now. I was reading articles, but, because I titled it what I did, World War III, Israeli state moving in on Damascus to liquidate Bashar al-Assad. Is this not what Benjamin, not a Jew, said he was going to do just a couple days before these events took place? Due to YouTube's policies prohibiting misleading tags, this video has been locked as private. So, how is that misleading? Israeli state moving in on Damascus to liquidate Bashar al-Assad. Is that not what he said he would do? Remove any unrelated or misleading tags from the description and tag actions of your video is one of the things. Watch the video for more info on YouTube's policy on misleading media data. And again, this is just one of those bullshit things because I'm going to tell you who's fucking lying to us. The Israeli state, Amalek, is the ones that are fucking lying to us, saying that Iran targeted Israel. And Iran, if they were actually going to target the Israeli state, as Chris Green, AMTV, and his partner have already stated, you would actually see attacks in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. So this is fucking bullshit, just like FuckTube is run by the Amalekites anyways. But we're going to go on here. So here's some more false flags going off. Russians FSB foiled terrorist attack on massive V-Day Immortal Regiment in March in Moscow official. And isn't this coincidence? Is right after Benjamin, not a Jew, left Russia talking to Vladimir Putin. Russia's security forces prevented a terrorist attack at the million-strong Immortal Regiment march during Victory Day celebrations in Moscow, according to the county deputy's foreign minister, Oleg Semyakov. Several groups were detained that plotted to set off blasts during the Immortal Regiment event in Moscow and had prepared arms for it. So, this was definitely a foiled Mossad operation, because that's who these terrorists work for. Mossad. 7 people, including 4 children, shot dead in southwestern Australia, so you know that this is another one of them events. 7 people have been discovered dead near the town of Margaret River, south of Perth, Australia. Police say they are believed to be victims of a mass shooting with guns found nearby. 4 of the victims are children. So here we go. Now they're doing the same bullshit in Australia. That's another part of this EU, because we know that Australia is one of those gun-free zones. But to make you believe that it's all about the guns. All right, here's France. Are we America's vassals? France vows to trade with Iran in defiance of the United States economic policeman, So they're telling the policeman, because we know Team America is the world police. They even did a comedy about that. On the heels of Trump's withdrawal from the Iran deal, France's economy minister had urged Europe to stop acting like U.S. vassals and continue trading with Tehran in defiance of what the globalist economic policeman has in store. Do we want to be vassals who obey decisions taken by the United States while clinging to the hem of their trousers? So, in other words, they're getting fed up of America and their bullshit. And here's some more. EU wants to replace the United States after it ditched Iran nuclear deal. But can it? That's another thing. They're talking about this. Europe needs to replace the United States as the world leader at Washington is no longer fit for its role. The EU Commission had said, following Donald Trump's withdrawal from the Iran nuclear deal, whether the EU can do it is another matter. At this point, we have to replace the United States, which, as an international actor, has lost vigor, and because of it, in the long-term influence, President of the European Commission, Jean-Claude Juncker, said that while speaking to Belgium's Flemish Regional Parliament on Wednesday, he went on to say that Washington had been turning away from the constructive international relations with a ferocity that can only surprise us. And so that's what's really going on here. The 10 horns are beginning to hate the whore, which that's the EU. They're starting to pull away from the whore. And so terrorists hand over medium and heavy weapons before leaving southern Damascus to northern Syria. So Bashar al-Assad is still liberating his area from the terrorists that the Zionist Israeli state controlled. That's the real reason why the Israeli state is attacking Syria, is because these terrorist groups are run from the Golan Heights into Syria. Hamas, preparations for evacuating third batch of terrorists unwilling to settle their status along with their families from the countryside of Homs and Hama to northern Syria. So again, they are, they're being allowed to leave. Iran vehemently condemns Israeli flagrant aggression on Syrian territories. Iran's foreign ministry has strongly condemned the Israeli blatant aggression on the Syrian territory, which poses a potent example of the crisis-seeking, lie-oriented, and domineering nature of this uprising. So again, everybody knows that Iran never even did anything. That pretty much what had happened is Israeli state fired on Syria, and Syria responded. And technically, they didn't attack Israel. They attacked another part of Syria, because Golan Heights is Syria. 2 injured, material damage caused in terrorist shelling attacks in Dara. 2 civilians were injured when terrorist groups fired shells and round explosives on the citizens' houses in Dara, southern province. So, again, this is what's really going on in Syria. And we got more here. U.S.-backed forces seize large parts of ISIS-occupied Deir ez-Zor. So you ever notice, though, that every time United States or Israeli state happens to do strikes, that all of a sudden ISIS, their terrorist groups, start advancing? Beirut, Lebanon. The U.S.-backed Syrian Democratic Forces, a.k.a. the terrorists, continued their advance to the Deir ez-Zor governorate Thursday, seizing more ground from the so-called Islamic State. Actually, Syrian Democratic Forces, a very interesting name. The Syrian Democratic Forces managed to advance a dozen kilometers of eastern Deir ez-Zor, putting them within striking distance of the imperative town of Hajan. The distance between ISIS and us is roughly 200 meters, said Haval Bahas, CDF fighter, was quoted as saying. The CDF troops are currently coordinated with the Iraqi security forces to clear the last remaining pockets controlled by the Islamic State. So basically, this is another so-called strike group, which is what the Syrian Defense Forces are, which is our Syrian Democratic Forces is pretty much controlled by Iraq, and Iraq is controlled by the United States. It's a proxy of the United States, because everybody knows that the United States took Iraq. But I'm the one that's giving misleading information, right? That's what they're saying about me. These goddamn motherfuckers. So anyways, all I did is read some articles yesterday, so now I'm going to read a little more truth, which it's going to be misleading to Christianity, but this will be the truth. So I'll just read out of the Bible here, so hold on a second. Isaiah chapter 18, and this is talking about America, Babylon the Great. Well, it's a land shadowing with wings, because we know that is, they often call themselves the eagle, which the Bible also calls them the eagle, which is beyond the rivers of Ethiopia. Again, we know that America is way beyond the rivers of Ethiopia, that sendeth ambassadors by the sea, even in vessels of bulrushes upon the waters, saying, Go ye swift messengers to a nation scattered and peeled, to a people terrible from their beginning hitherto, a nation meted out and trodden down, whose land the rivers have spoiled. So again, they took a spoil from us because we were the originals here, the tribe of Gad, Reuben, and I can name all the Latino tribes, but the main ones that were here were Gad and Reuben. All ye inhabitants of the world and dwellers on the earth, see you when he lifteth up an ensign on the mountains, and when he bloweth the trumpet, hear ye. For so the Lord said unto me, I will take my rest, and I will consider it in my dwelling place like near heat upon herbs, and like a cloud of dew in the heat of harvest. So again, that's talking about what he's about to do to America, Babylon the Great. For the harvest, when the bud is perfect and the sour grape is ripening in flower, he shall both cut off the sprigs with pruning hooks and take away and cut down the branches. So this is how Esau, the so-called white man, is going to be cut down to the ground, who saith in his heart, I will ascend above the clouds. So, it's talking about Esau here, which we know that his high place is America, Babylon the Great. They shall be left together unto the fowls of the mountains and to the beasts of the earth. That's another scripture here, because I just read out of Isaiah 13, talking about how these fowls, these owls, which is a part of fowls, is going to be here. This place is going to be desolate. And the fowls shall summer upon them, and the beasts of the earth shall winter upon them. In that day the present be brought unto the Lord of hosts of a people scattered and peeled. That's talking about us, because we're here in this horrible place, America. And from a people terrible from the beginning hitherto, which is talking about the Edomites, and a nation meted out and trodden underfoot, because again, this is pretty much, this place is going to be under the foot, pretty much, they're going to be trodden down, who will be cut down to the ground, whose land the rivers have spoiled, to the place of the name of the Lord of hosts, the Mount Zion. And we are that Mount Zion. We are that new Jerusalem that's going to be going up, and we're going to be coming down. And we're going to smash this place, pretty much, Esau's about to be taken out of power, and so this is a truth bomb, but they're going to say that this is misleading information. Now, Christianity has been the misleading information, and they have misled us by saying that they're the Jews, when in fact they are the synagogue of Satan. So, again, I hope this has been edifying. Like everything else, though, copy and save this to your hard drive, and, forward this video while you still can, because you can see bunch of bullshit coming out, and they'll say that this is misleading tags or whatever. Fuck them all, because they can't handle the truth, Shalom.